everyone, and welcome back to the Walking Dead series by The Verdict's End. I'm your host, Nicole.
I'm Gary.
And today we're talking about The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 12, entitled The Lucky Ones. Gary, what are your thoughts? Or who's the lucky ones?
I don't know. I don't know who the lucky ones is. Everyone looks like, or maybe Alexandria. They're the real lucky ones. We see people in there building. Rebuilding. We see they're security everywhere. But that's it. And the people at Commonwealth.
Yeah, those are, I don't know who's more lucky. I feel like the Commonwealth, because they haven't had a shutdown or anything since the beginning. Well, they didn't confirm that, but I believe Pamela was talking to Aaron, or somebody was talking to Aaron. Maybe it might have been Hornsby. And they're like, yeah, we fought off people before. And they're like, wait, more than once? Or you rebuilt more than once? So, which makes me think they've never had to rebuild.
Right.
Let alone multiple times.
Yeah. So they may be the lucky ones.
Yeah.
Especially like the first people in. Mm-hmm. And the people that actually had a trade or a skill.
Right.
If you didn't have a skill, you're unlucky.
Yeah, you're going to be like serving tables or washing dishes like Yumiko's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend. Nothing wrong with that. But
I mean, nothing's wrong with it, but she's not chilling. And she's not, out getting boozed up.
Yeah. Which I can't blame them. But all right, well, let's get into it then. First like is going to be that Gary was right last week. There is no Stephanie. I was listening to the last podcast and how I over and over I kept saying, well, Max is Stephanie. Like, I was so confused, and you just kept correcting me, and I was just still like, nah, she's the real Stephanie, So no, you're right, there was no Stephanie, which I'll bring up later, because damn, she lied to Eugene from the start. Then
not really. I mean, it's like when you're younger, you get on a little chat line, you give a little fake name.
Yes.
What was my fake name growing up? I think I was probably like a Jason one time, then a Shamar. Man, I just had many fake names on the chat line.
I don't know if I ever had a fake name on the chat line. On
you
like the
give
party
you a
lines.
real name? Yeah.
Probably.
What?
I mean, it's your first name. Like, all you have to say is Nicole. There's like a million of us, so
nah.
Who cares?
I was secure before the phones had security. I was before the computers.
Okay. Well,
I don't know who I'm talking to.
I still have some thoughts on fake Stephanie, or Max. Let's just call her Max at this point. But I have some thoughts, which I think I'll bring up a little bit later.
But I think that was smart. You have to give a fake name.
I understand. Okay, well, we'll just bring it up now. I understand having a fake name, but how she told Eugene, like, all the times we talked, you didn't know that wasn't me. And I'm like, bitch, all those times we talked, you never revealed to me ever that, hey, when we first met, I told you Stephanie. Now that we're all comfortable, we're getting to know each other, I obviously trust you. I had you come here. You never actually told me your real name eventually? At no point?
Well, she did tell him her real name.
But now, when he's sitting in some alley crying.
No, I mean, he probably knew that was Max the whole time. He just didn't know Max was Stephanie.
She never told him the name Max.
Well, she explained it. She said when he got there.
Yes, that she was surprised. But I'm saying even before that, if she's going to say, hey, Eugene, you should have known that was me based on all those conversations and everything we had and actually worked together and like kind of got to know each other, at no point did you tell him your real name.
No, she didn't say that.
Yes, she did.
You're wrong. What she said was, how were you with her after everything you knew about me? How did you believe that was the real me? All the conversations we had, not all the times we worked together. She had all the conversations we had, everything, because she revealed everything to him. All her likes, dislikes.
Not everything.
I mean, the only thing she didn't reveal was the name.
Her name. That's the biggest thing.
That's not a big thing. I mean, it's dangerous times. It's dangerous time. He's better be lucky he got a location.
All right. We're just going to have to agree to disagree.
I mean, you can't trust anyone. And once he got there, like she said, he seemed so happy with her. But she was upset because how did you spend all that time with her knowing all the stuff about me? And she can't be just like me. All the stuff we had in common, everything we talked about, I think Eugene, once he saw her get the Rocky Road or whatever, the raspberry, cherry, Rocky Road or whatever, once he saw her get that, he mentioned it. He said, "Hey, I see you got the raspberry so-and-so Rocky."
No, it was just Rocky Road.
Well, I see you got the Rocky Road. But when he said that, he kind of looked kind of puzzled in. She just walked away.
True. And now, I don't know if we mentioned it at the time when that episode aired, but I will say that like millions of people eat Rocky Road. Not me, but like eating Rocky Road ice cream is not like a unique thing. That's not like, oh, I never met a person that ate Rocky Road. Like,
but it's not really a common thing either.
It's common enough that I know I've heard of Rocky Road ice cream. I know that flavor.
We've been together 18 years, and I've never seen you get Rocky Road.
I just said I don't eat Rocky Road, but I know of Rocky Road.
We never had Rocky Road in our household.
No, we never had Rocky Road. But I'm saying it's a common ice cream. I understand that people eat it. You know?
I mean, people eat it, but it's not as common as you think. I mean, everybody know about it, but not everyone eat it.
All right. Another agree to disagree, because I just felt like now looking at him saying like, is that Rocky Road? A girl who likes Rocky Road just like me? It's like,
well, also, if someone says this is my favorite ice cream, this is what I eat, and then you go to the ice cream stand and they get like something way off, you're going to question it.
It can't be that way. We're in apocalypse and they're making Rocky Road. So obviously it's not like just some obscure, flavor that people hardly eat and they just make it on special occasions. They're making it every day, meaning it's popular enough that it's getting used and eaten every day.
Right. But just to go back to what he said or what she said, they never worked together. She was saying all the times we communicated, we talked.
Okay, I said work together. I meant that. Like, yes, all the communication that we've had, which
I agree with her. I mean, we talked about like our old town, stomping grounds, everything. We talked about so much, and we talked daily. So you telling me that you're talking to this person and you think it's me? Nah. Okay. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, I have some thoughts. I'll just leave it for my dislikes because it's on my dislikes. But next is, I believe, no, it was Daryl. I was going to say Aaron, but it was Daryl when I think Hornsby said, like, what did you do before here? And I think it's kind of been like an ongoing joke because so many people have asked Daryl that over the 11 seasons and he's never answered. Like, we're always wondering, like, what did Daryl do? And I think the honest truth is not a damn thing based on, what we know about him. But either way, I like that he was like, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what we did before. We're all here. We're all working now. And it kind of reminded me, maybe this is a stretch, but I honestly thought of it when he said it. And that was the Loki and Thanos scene in Infinity War when Loki was like to Thanos, he's like, I have experience. And Thanos was like, you call failure experience? He's like, I call experience.
Right.
And I'm like, yes, Daryl. I'm like, yes, it doesn't matter what we did before. We're doing it now. And technically, it doesn't matter if I was a police officer or not. I have the experience of doing that now in the apocalypse. Like I said, I know it was a stretch, but for some reason that scene came in my head when we were watching it. And maybe it's because I just like Infinity War. Okay, Jerry's excitement over the king getting to the top of the list. I just loved it. Like, Jerry was super excited. He's like, yeah. And the king's all questioning. Jerry's like, who cares? You deserve this win. Like, it doesn't matter. So I kind of saw the king's view, and I don't know if it's later, I have it written down for later, like his, kind of just being a little conflicted with it all, of like getting to the top of the list and everything like that. But I'm like, Jerry is like the best friend that everyone needs. Like, everyone deserves.
He is.
Yeah.
And I understand where the king was coming from. The king is a born leader. So he knows that there's people that need this help that's been waiting. And he said, if you've been in there, you saw all those sick people. There's people that have been waiting this whole time. What makes me more important than them?
Right. And Carol was like, hey, well, those are lesser people or like lesser men. They're not as cool as you. But like, everybody probably thinks their family member is more important. This person's more important. But in the end, we have to have a system in place to make it fair. So I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted. Like, I'm glad the king is going to get his surgery. But I honestly do think something bad's going to happen. Like, I think he's going to not make it through the surgery. And then Carol's going to feel really bad that she pushed him up or whatever. Now she lost him earlier than what she had to. So I have a feeling I have a feeling the surgery is not going to go as smooth as we think. But at the same time, I see also trying to do whatever you can to get your family member or your loved one up to the top of the list.
Yeah, definitely.
But no one person is like more important than the next person.
And Carol needed to make up her mind.
Right. Don't be like you left the king years ago. Like you can't be sitting here. I don't think she's throwing like mixed signals or anything. I think she's saying like, hey, I still got love for you. You're my people. You're my ex-husband, because they did get married. Remember at one point she started wearing the ring.
Man, I don't like that friend zone thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't just throw me in a friend zone.
I mean, Carol was like doing her best when she was with not Jerry, when she was with the king. Like, you know, she was stable.
I don't love you, but I got love for you.
She was stable, and she wasn't
in
up
love
to
with
those, you know, crazy antics that she's up to now. But yeah, I think just friendship is on the line at this point. All right, so Aaron and Hornsby. Hornsby was trying to play his hand like too much. Like he was talking to Aaron like they just needed them. And it's like at the same time, yeah, we could use your help. It'd be amazing to get your help from Commonwealth. But don't sit here and act like we just can't survive without you, because we've been surviving without you. We've rebuilt several times. So when he was talking shit to Aaron, and Aaron was like, look, that like it looks like you're not prepared. Not that I'm not prepared. And and then Hornsby said something. He's like, that's not my problem. You know, like
that's not like a personal problem.
Yeah. So first of all, I just appreciate seeing Aaron because he's one of my favorites. But I also like that he didn't bite his tongue, because Aaron's like a respectful guy. And normally he would kind of, you know, try to say things nicely.
Yeah.
But in this case, he was like, how's that my problem? And you're not prepared.
Because it's not his problem.
Right.
Me and you had an agreement. We're honoring our agreement. Our agreement didn't come with these stipulations. So you told her that you could get this, get that. That's not my problem.
Yep. He oversold Hornsby oversold what he had before getting confirmation that he had it. Like he was telling Pamela, hey, I got these 3 cities, these 3 communities or whatever. And it's like, you didn't have it yet. You talked the game before actually closing on it. Yeah.
Well, he told her he had the one. He had Alexandria. But he said that, you know, they're in conjunction with the other cities, that they're all allies. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go here and make this deal. He never told her that Maggie turned them down at a hilltop, which there is no hilltop.
Yeah.
Maggie turned them down on a piece of land with a tent. That's all that was, which is, he could have found that anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
But he never went to Oceanside and asked them. So he thought since the Oceanside and Alexandria was allies, that he could just go to Oceanside and they just accept it. But Oceanside said that, they have an agreement with Maggie. Which, what is that? Maggie doesn't have anything. There's nothing over there.
What is she trading? Like, what is she? She doesn't have anything to offer you guys.
Nothing to offer.
At the same time, maybe it's because they know Maggie for so long. They've known her.
Maggie's been gone for 20 years. Maggie's been gone for a good, let's say, and we always say different, but it has to be a good 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 7 or 8. Yeah, about 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that I was kind of disappointed that Rachel said that. Like, we stand with Maggie, because it's like Aaron probably stands with Maggie, but we're not, just because she doesn't decide to do something, like, you can still be my ally and still work with this other community. So I don't see why Rachel wasn't willing.
It didn't make any sense because Maggie doesn't have a community. Right. There's nothing there.
Right.
So I don't even understand that part of the deal. It should have been a 2-city, I'm gonna call them cities, but a 2 cities, 2 country deal.
Right.
Or 2 territories. Let's call it territories, since we're talking.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna call it territory since that's a commonwealth, and they're trying to get them a part of it. They're trying to get them to be one of their territories. Mm-hmm. So. But what Maggie has is not a territory. This is a campsite.
Well, I don't know. If you put it that way, Maggie still has people. And where there's people, not that many anymore. But where there's people, I don't want to make it sound like just because if your territory is shit, but like you don't have any value. because there's still people that are living there, whether it's, not as developed. I don't know. For some reason, when we start talking, I start thinking of like first world countries versus third world countries and all that, or, developed countries versus undeveloped. And it started making me think like, I don't know. It sounds weird trying to make it like talk about Maggie's country or territory like that when it's like, yeah, her territory may be like a third world or developing country, but ultimately it still does have value because there are people living there.
No. I can't see it. Because if I want to get territories, Alexandria is developed. It has people in there working. They're gardening. They're getting things together. So, yeah, that's somewhere you could go and rest your head and you could, kind of trade some things. Maybe they want organic. They want organic fruit, organic vegetables. Yeah, you go to Alexandria and get that. Oh, I want fish. Fresh fish. You go to Oceanside. Oceanside, they have the fish to you within 2 days? How long do you think the horse ride is? Probably 2-3 days?
Yeah.
Maybe 2 days. So you can have that. Hilltop, it's not a tourist site. It's nothing about Hilltop will bring you any money or bring you any value. They can't even grow crops at the Hilltop. Remember, the soil is ruined already. They already used up everything out of the ground. All the resources, all the whatever, the minerals, everything out of the soil. So you can't grow anything at the Hilltop. They have no property on the Hilltop. Hilltop is useless. Hilltop is like, what's a place in California that people go just to disappear? They just get lost. They go where you can't find them. They're no man, no land.
I don't know. You talking about a specific place?
Yeah, I saw a documentary on it.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure.
Okay, it's somewhere. It's somewhere in like Los Angeles that people go. When they just want to get off the grid. There's no ID there. They don't have no land. There's no houses, no nothing. There's just a whole bunch of tents. In fact, there's a place like that here in Atlanta.
I'm still going to stick with my original assessment, which was that she still has people there. So it's somewhat valuable. Those people can fight. They can be workers. They still have something they can offer.
Didn't her best soldiers go to the Commonwealth?
That was at the end, yes.
Well, there's nothing there. In fact, Maggie embarrassed the hell out of me. How do we horse ride to the Hilltop and Maggie's getting attacked? She would have died if the Commonwealth people wouldn't have got there.
Right.
That was so embarrassing. Our people just don't get taken down by walkers.
I agree. It was like 2 or 3 walkers. I'm like, why y'all fighting so hard?
It was fighting soup. The horse carriage turned and everything. Right. Yeah, it was just a mess. Maggie on the ground fighting for her life. Just not you, Maggie.
All right, Maggie saying to Pamela, luck is about opportunity, because I think one of them said like, we're just getting lucky, or we just been lucky or whatever. And Maggie said luck is about opportunity. I thought that was like a real valuable line right there, because so many people like think they've gotten lucky, but it's like the opportunity has to even be there for you to get lucky.
Well, she didn't say she got lucky. She said no, the Commonwealth didn't have any luck. Said the Commonwealth didn't need luck, basically. That right. They're doing, they're operating.
Because they already have the opportunities were endless. They didn't have people trying to fight in them, trying to kill them, all this other stuff.
Yeah, she told them that, you had a great deal of luck. Right. Luck is about opportunity.
Right.
You have a lot of opportunity right there.
Quick and that's Ezekiel realizing that Carol's the one that got him bumped up, because when he was talking to Carol, you could tell she's like, oh, that's awesome, but she wasn't really surprised. So, and he knows her. So he's like, you the one that did this. And that's when they had their whole conversation. And it shows you that the king is such a good man, because it's not even like about like, yes, I'm lucky. Like he didn't, like some people would not even question why it happened, versus he's questioning it. And then he's even realizing, like, feeling bad when he realizes that Carol's the one that helped him. So once again, King proving that he's a good man, which,
and a great leader.
And next is Maggie talking to Pamela about equality. I really like this conversation because she's talking to her and Maggie goes, I want people to look up to me based on what I've done and not what I have that they don't have. And it made me think of like, there's been so many conversations lately about like politicians that are like investing in the stock market, at least in the US here, investing in the stock market, and how some of that could be shady if they're making deals with these companies or have inside trader information, whatever the case may be. And when she was saying that, because you see Pamela, she's like all nice and clean in her little heels or whatever. I mean, I don't know if she had heels in this episode, but you know what I mean? Like, she's living a life of privilege in the Commonwealth that some other people don't. So it's like, what makes you more valuable than these people? And what makes you get all these nice, benefits versus you haven't really done much. You're just in charge. And it kind of made me think that maybe like politicians just across the world really, but possibly giving up their wealth while they're in office. Like because nothing will make you feel or closer to the people. If you're like a millionaire, there's no way you're in charge. There's no way you can relate to the common struggles, the complaints, or whatever it is that regular people are going through. So I kind of feel this conversation made me think of, hey, what if politicians gave up their wealth while they were in office and they only were able to live off whatever their their standard pay, like don't have access to extra money? Because during that time, of course, they'll probably make more money after, but during that time, they're living like everyone else. So when they're making these laws and these bills and passing all these things into place, they're doing it hopefully from a perspective of an ordinary person instead of someone that's rich and privileged and doesn't even care.
Yeah, that's a good point. But when Maggie said that, all I can think is, you fucking hypocrite.
How?
You are a hypocrite. She was over the hilltop. She made decisions for the hilltop. She decided who came in, who got kicked out of the hilltop. Do you think that she didn't get one of the best rooms at the hilltop? All right, let's go to Alexandria. They had a certain group of people that sat around that table and made decisions for the whole community. The whole community, it wasn't like a big vote. Oh, we're going to go out here and give the community a chance to vote who stays in, who gets kicked out. They made the decision. Remember when, what's her name came in with the tattoo?
Yeah, Yumika's girlfriend.
Yumika. A small council had to sit down to decide their fate. It wasn't like they went to the group of people and said, hey, we want y'all to have a voice in this if they stay or come. No, it wasn't a voice in that. So that's hypocritical. The only thing the Commonwealth is bigger, is larger. They have more things. Like you said, more opportunity. So picture the hilltop at a bigger level. It'll be the same damn way. There will be people at the top that's making the decision, and there'll be the people that's farming. I mean, what does she think? You know what? The reason that she look at the Commonwealth like that is because it's monetary. They're dealing with dollars. They're dealing with real things. But every place we have seen, there's people that's farming. There's people that's making stuff. There, even when they had the little carnival, the fair, there's people that's selling. They're selling the stuff they make. So there's people with jobs. Maggie should know this better than anybody, because when she was over the hilltop, that was a hard job for her to make decisions of what happened at the hilltop. Period. She wasn't. Do you think Maggie slept in a big house at the hilltop?
I don't know, because actually
she definitely did.
When you just said that, I kind of disagree with what you're saying. Not kind of, I do disagree with what you're saying, because that still has nothing to do with what she was talking about. You're talking about decisions that are being made. So yeah, every time something happens, that's why in Alexandria, they did have a council. Because every time a decision needs to be made, we don't need to gather the hundreds of people, residents here, and say, okay, let's all take a vote every single time there's a decision. So they put people in place.
Why not?
To do that, because there's so many things coming up every day. Okay, so should we make more? Should we grow should we grow tomatoes, or should we grow something else today? Like all these decisions, like, come on, give us with the big decisions, but the little decisions, no. And then also the last thing I'll say real quickly is that you're talking about decisions. She's actually talking about a life of privilege, and that's where the inequality came in.
And I think Maggie and the rest of them had a life of privileges. And I mentioned that. I said, you don't think Maggie stayed in the house? You don't think that's a privilege to actually stay in the house when they were at Hilltop? And not one of the little things that they build on the side.
Once again, this is a hypothetical. We don't know where Maggie stayed. And if she did stay in the house, that's fine with me. She was pregnant at that time. So where was she supposed to sleep?
I mean, that sounds hypocritical to me. Megan's we don't know who else was pregnant. Did all the pregnant people get the house? Did they switch out rooms?
All right.
Everybody has a role to play in each one of these communities. There's soldiers in the community. There's people that grows the food, makes the food. There's people that when it's time to trade, it goes out to trade. Everybody has a role to play. It's just like the Commonwealth. And that's why this is the perfect territories for the Commonwealth to try to take over. Well, not the Hilltop, but the rest of them are.
All right. And next, is Eugene feeling guilty about his lie. But then he started thinking about how Stephanie / Max, let's just call her Max, lied to him. I kind of liked it when he was like, I need some space because you lied to me, da-da-da. And then I didn't like how she sort of turned it on him. Like, she kind of gaslighted him, in my opinion, when she would, later on, when he came to talk to her, and she's like, I don't know if I can forgive you or whatever. And I'm like, what? How are you making him the bad guy? You were the one that lied. So, yeah, he had a right to be mad.
Only thing she lied about, or was dishonest about, was her name. That's it.
I wouldn't say that's it. She saw him with the fake Stephanie and didn't say anything.
Because she didn't want to get outed.
Outed of what? Outed for what?
Outed for communicating in the first place. Remember, they were looking for the person that was on the radio communicating. She would have got in trouble for that. She could have been locked up.
No, by the time that she saw him, and based on that flashback that we saw with her and Mercer, they already knew that Max had been on the radio. That's how they were able to come up with their plan of getting a fake Stephanie.
No, from my understanding, they didn't know who was on the radio.
Until Mercer came in that flashback and came to Max's house and was like, I can't believe you did this. Hopefully they don't recognize your voice. And then that's when they came with the plan to put a fake Stephanie into place.
No, but they didn't know who it was at that point. He was just giving her a warning. And remember, that's why she got off the radio.
No, I mean, by the time that Max saw Eugene and the fake Stephanie together, she was already outed by that point, is what I mean.
Nobody said she was outed. Nobody said they found the real Max or the real Stephanie.
Lydia saying fixing Hilltop feels pointless sometimes. I definitely got that. I mean, we both were like, why? Why is Maggie going so hard for Hilltop? And why didn't she put all her resources and energy into just fixing up Alexandria instead?
Well, let me tell you what happened. And this is just a theory. When she went to Alexandria, she didn't have the power that she thought she would have. And when Commonwealth came and said, we have something for you, we could do this for you, Maggie was probably like, no, we don't need you. But Aaron probably looked at her like, hold up. Right now, you're just a guest. What do you mean we don't need them? So I think Aaron took the deal and Maggie had a hissy fit and she left.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, if Aaron took the deal and then Maggie was like, nah, I'm leaving. We're going to go back to Hilltop. I mean, I don't know. I guess she's a good leader to be able to have followers that followed her back to the Hilltop.
Right.
On this pointless mission.
But we already know if anybody can rebuild, it'll be Maggie. I mean, she's been rebuilding for years, supposedly. And
she worked with Georgiana, or I don't know. She worked with the lady that gave them...
Georgia,
yeah.
Yeah.
That gave them the blueprint of how to rebuild.
Right. So she would know how to rebuild, but right now, like you said, these people have been fighting for years. They're tired. They just got out of a big war. I'm surprised she had people to follow her over there.
I'm too. Because the smart thing to me would have been help Alexandria rebuild. And then after that's rebuilt, like, hey, Aaron, we want to get the Hilltop back up and running. Now that Alexandria is up on their feet, can you help us? She wouldn't have even needed the Commonwealth.
And that's why I said I think that she got upset and dipped and went and said, hey, y'all can make the deal if you want to, but I'm not going to be a part of it. And Aaron probably looked at her like, yo, you haven't been a part of it for 8 years. This is not you anymore. This is not your decision. You're not a part of the council here.
Well, I like that Maggie said to the Commonwealth, like about the Commonwealth offer to, I think Pamela, she was like, everything costs something. Like, y'all are not making this free trade with us to help us out of the goodness of your hearts. Because if you were, you would just come and do it. But instead, you're trying to put stuff into place. And maybe they saying, hey, maybe their offer is, hey, we'll help you, but if something comes up, we need your help. So I don't know what their like, argument was or what their offer was, but I thought she was correct when she was like, everything costs something, like nothing's free.
Right. And you know what Pamela said also made sense when she was talking about why do we need these, or we don't really need this. And the thing is, that's just like the British Empire when they had all those territories. You can't see when you have a territory across the world, across this, and right now, 2 states away or a state away, that's really across the world when you only have horses.
True.
So when you have things over here, you can't run that. You can't see what's going on there. And that's when, things start to happen. It could be bad things. And I think that's what the Britons or British realized when they had territories like Belize, Canada. I think some of them are still part of the territory. Africa, it was like 70-something territories.
Yeah, I've been actually watching, not the same thing, but I've been watching The Last Kingdom on Netflix. And like each time, each king that not each king, but one particular king, he wants all of the kingdoms to be under England. Like he wants to unite and make it all one England. And there might be different people in charge or subset kings that's under him for each one. But ultimately he wants a United Kingdom, or in this case, like a United States. Like there might be a governor or mayor and all that other stuff. But hey, there's only one president in the US, And to me, that's maybe not Pamela's goal. Like I think Pamela's cool with having her own little empire at Commonwealth. But Hornsby is more ambitious, and he's like, yo, we have the Commonwealth, but let's bring these other ones in. And
I don't think he's really trying to bring the other ones in. I think he's really trying to run the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely trying to run the other ones, but with someone of his ambition that's willing to do anything, they could be very dangerous. So I'm curious to see where Hornsby ends up, like if he makes it through the rest of the season, because his ambitions are going to get him killed.
I think Hornsby is going to be the ultimate villain. He's going to make it through the season. I think he's going to close the show out. This is not going to be a grand opening, grand closing like the last one, the last group. I think this is going to last for a while.
All right, dislikes. First one is, how did the Walker get into Alexandria? They're like, we had a breach. And you brought that up when we were watching, like, how'd they get a breach?
Yeah.
And I think, like, one of the stormtroopers, somebody, I think they implanted that Walker just to keep reminding them, hey, you guys may need our help. Because how's there a breach?
I don't think the stormtrooper did that because that would have been silly. If you want her, Pamela, to be on your side, that breach should have never happened. And that's what Hornsby was saying. Like, how did this happen? And he said, well, your people was watching the gates, manning the gates. Probably when we opened it up, they came in. But anyway, I call bullshit on it. Because, I mean, Alexandria is surrounded, had the fences up, the gates up. What did the Walker come through, the sewer? He climbed the gate.
Right.
I mean, this is not Fear the Walking Dead Walker. Yeah. This is the regular Walking Dead Walker.
Yeah. The question is, how did that Walker get in? It just didn't make sense. Small dislike, but Max's wig, just why?
That wig was killing me.
I know.
Once I saw it, it was just hard to unsee.
Yeah. Because they first had her hair wrapped, and I was like, yes, okay. Because I don't even know what I don't know if I thought of what, like, ethnicity or anything Max was when we first saw her. But then I guess after they said that she was Mercer's sister, I start looking at her as black. But when it first showed her, I don't know. I didn't even think of what her race was. I just saw her as a person, which you should. But, like, then in this episode, I'm like, okay, now that I know she's black, and then she has her hair wrapped, I'm like, good for Walking Dead having her hair wrapped. She had different wraps each time when it showed her talking with Eugene in the backstory. But then it was like, but why'd y'all put that horrible wig on her?
And why y'all lead it to the side? Why you had to turn the wig?
And I'm like, does she always have this wig? Like, because all the times we've seen her and I just didn't notice it. But maybe because we haven't got that much contact. Like, it's always been like real quick with her. And this time we got to see more of her. And that wig was it was standing out. It definitely was.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It's like whoever was in charge of that should be fired.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I think maybe, I don't know what they were doing. Like, couldn't they have put extensions instead of the wig or something? Because King Ezekiel's wig is cool. Not Connie, Carol, she has some type of extension or something.
Michonne wig is cool.
Michonne's wig. Yes, I remember the first time we met Michonne, when we saw her off The Walking Dead and she didn't have the hair. I'm like, I did not know. Like, I just assumed it was hers.
Yeah.
So somebody messed up big time with
whoever did struggle braids.
Right.
Did hers.
But then you got to also call out the actor, because it's like, girl, you looked in that mirror and was like, okay. But she's like, yo, I'm just trying to keep my job. I ain't gonna complain on anybody. I'm just happy to be here. So I get it. I mean, why you don't want to risk it? So, because look at now, she could be at Walking Stalker Con and she can make a living off of this.
Make a living.
She's been on the required amount of episodes. You got to do at least 3 episodes or so. Have enough speaking parts, and you can be on Walker. You can go to Walker Stalker.
But that's all you need is a speaking part.
Yeah.
Would you say hello?
Yeah.
You're in there.
Well, you know who was a pleasant surprise to see? I want to say Diane from The Kingdom. Way back, the one that said, Maggie, I gotta go. I'm leaving. Like, when I saw her, I'm like, damn, when's the last time we seen her? Like, she looks so different. So, yeah. I was using her as an example, as not everyone can be on Walker Stalker Con, because I couldn't see her going to Walker Stalker Con. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm trying to get in there.
Like, she's been in many episodes, but to me, she's not a big enough character to be at Walker. Like, I feel like her table would be empty if people like, I mean, I might go if no one's in line. I'd be like, oh, there goes Diane, the lady plays Diane, but no one's going to Walker Stalker Con to see Diane per se.
Well, you can give me any role, but once I get my speaking role, I'm in there.
Yeah.
Walker Stalker for life.
Right. I wonder if T-Dog still goes to Walker Stalker, because to me, he's still like big enough character.
I mean, he does. I mean, when they have the Walker Stalker little flyers or whatever.
He's on there.
Yeah, you see T-Dog on there. But Walker Stalker is just sci-fi, just period.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be The Walking Dead. It's just sci-fi, and some of these characters moved on to another sci-fi show.
Yeah, like Chad, Tyrese.
Yeah.
He played on The Expanse. I don't know if I haven't watched it in a long time, so he may or may not be on that show. But it's a big show, so that's even going to help his Walker Stalker autographs and all that stuff that people stand in line for. All right, so how did Maggie and her team get run over by a few walkers? We kind of already mentioned that.
Yeah, I call bullshit.
It was not a good look, especially since they just drove up.
It's not a good look at all. Especially if you're turning somebody down for help.
Right. Like, you almost dying. You're like, I don't need your help. It's like, what?
You can't even help yourself.
Right.
When I saw it, I was disappointed. I said, this is not Maggie.
Okay, so this was a dislike as well. When Carol said to Ezekiel, so you're supposed to die because the system is broken? And I'm like, Carol, you sound like a Karen right now. How is this system broken? Like, there's a line and there's a list and there's people that's before him. He just got here. Like, to me, that's not a sign of the system. I mean, yeah, the system's broken because the world's broken, but the system they have in play, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And I don't think she sound like a Karen because she said that. I think she just sound extra privileged, like she just don't understand.
Right.
she just don't understand that this is how it works.
She only thinking of herself and the people that she knows, and she's like, yeah, he deserves to be at the top. But it's like, at the same time, I don't see why they wouldn't have more volunteers. Like, look at Enid. She learned all the medical stuff. Like if you don't have enough doctors to where this man that is a doctor had to become one again, y'all could have taught like so many people to become doctors by now. It's 10 years in. Like, they could have been doctors or doctor enough in the apocalypse. So getting more people trained, medically trained, would be to their benefit, to where this long list of people hopefully still wouldn't be the case.
Yeah. I
mean, you're probably not going to be able to all of a sudden do surgeries, but you can do the basic stuff of doctor. Like, and who knows? They probably can train to do surgery too. I mean, we've seen Enid cut off Aaron's arm.
Yeah. And who was before Enid?
Sadiq. Sadiq taught Enid.
All right, there was somebody else who was trained to do all that medical stuff, but who was that?
I want to say her name was her name Diana too? Like,
one who got shot in the eye with the arrow?
Yeah. Tara's girlfriend. Oh, I forgot about Tara. Yeah, Tara's
Well, I mean,
girlfriend.
we've seen it done many a times. Well, not many a times, but like.
And remember, she was freaked out. She didn't know anything.
4 times. Yeah.
I mean, she went to like medical school or was in medical school at the time the apocalypse happened.
Yeah.
This was a big dislike for me. And that's with Eugene not telling Rosita the truth about Stephanie. Like, Rosita kept saying, like, Eugene, just tell me what's going on. Like, I liked her in that scene because she could tell something was wrong. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. And then in the end, they do this, like, they always do this on TV shows. It's usually like, I have something to tell you. I have something to tell you. And then the first person goes, and then the second person goes, what'd you have to tell me? Oh, never mind. Like, it was like that. I'm like, really? Like, why'd you guys build it up? I was waiting for him to tell her because she kept pushing. So I was like, yes, tell her. And then in the end, he's like, yeah, she just broke up with me. And then she's like, she's a good friend because she's like, you could do better. And I'm like, can he? Can he really?
Yeah, you always do better. And I mean, better for you.
Yeah, true.
Everybody is on a different level, and they meet somebody on their level, and their level might not be your level, but it's a level.
And he can do better because he does deserve a girl who won't lie to him. But maybe he met his match. Maybe the liar now met another fellow liar, and they realize how it feels.
And he said that.
Yeah, and I did like him saying that. Like, I lied to you guys about everything, and like, I kind of felt bad for him because it almost felt like he thought this was karma, like this is what I deserve. But no, I mean, Eugene has done some fucked up shit of all these years, but
Yes.
you know,
He switched sides.
yeah,
Everything.
yep. Okay, so Max playing hard to get with Eugene's apology. Like, she didn't lie to him about her name or say anything when she saw him. I mean, I know we went back and forth on this, but like, I didn't like how I felt like she was gaslighting him when he came to talk to her. And she's like, I don't know if I'm going to take your apology. Like, bitch, are you kidding me?
I actually felt her. That's just me, though.
Okay.
Cause there's no other me, and that's how you're supposed to feel. And if me you are talking, like if me you have talked for like days, we vibed, we had that chemistry, the vibration was so real, and then you go talk to somebody else. I mean, you can't tell that's the vibration's kind of off. You could tell an actor. There's certain things that somebody could say to you, and you know, man, that's bullshit. They run the game on me, or trying to.
Maybe, but I credit to like, they did talk on the phone or on a radio, so it probably wasn't that clear. Time has passed because he was, he was on his journey to go actually see her. So I think it's possible that he was like, oh, she's a little different than what I expected, but that's probably because we were over on the radio. Now it's different that we're in person.
He was pee-whipped. She gave him something, and he just didn't care no more.
Yeah.
Like, forget all that, I'm getting this. It happens.
It does. All right, and then last is Hornsby letting the walker get too close to him, like close to him before killing it. I didn't like that. I know they were trying to like be badass. Like, at first, I thought he was setting something up. Like, when he kept shooting the walkers, first he shot his gun and he starts shooting the walkers come out. I was like, oh, he wants the walker. He's trying to draw attention so the walkers can come to Hilltop and F shut up. But then when Aaron came and he was talking to Aaron and then turns around and like they try to think it was like a cool scene and turns around and shoots the walker that's like 2 inches away from him. I'm like, that was stupid and irresponsible. Like, letting that walker get that close.
Yeah, but I actually thought it was a dope scene. And I didn't think it was a dope to watch, like, oh, that's just cool. I thought it actually built his character, let us know who we're messing with, and know that he needs that rush. And when he, I guess, got the rejection from Pamela, that set something off in him. And that's when he went out there and started shooting and everything, whatever. He needs that rush. He needs it, and that's a very dangerous person. So, like I said, he may be the villain to look out for the next, I want to say 2 seasons, right. But the third part of the final season. Final season. These are different seasons. Stop messing with us, Walking Dead.
Right. Just say there was 13 seasons.
We don't believe you.
They say it's season 11. It's really season 12 right now. So, yeah. Okay. Well, now that you said it like that, you changed a dislike to a like. I kind of like it the way you described it. So we'll see. I mean, I don't like Hornsby. I don't see myself ever liking him. I don't hate him like we did, with Negan and some of the other villains, but
yeah, he's a narcissist.
Right.
And that's what that showed. It just kind of highlighted his character when he was doing that. Like he wanted it just so close to him where he failed to death. It could have got him, but just to see if you could turn around in time. Kind of suicidal.
Well, I feel that Pamela should have him killed because he's dangerous. Like someone that's that ambitious, and not saying you can't have ambitions, but like it feels like he's willing to do whatever, and that could be dangerous.
And you keep using the word ambitious, but I don't see it that way. I can't describe how I see it, but it's not. Or you may be right. But it's the wrong ambition. It is not the ambition that you should have. What Hornsby doing is, and I think I mentioned this to you already, and I try not to, because me and Nicole, we try not to talk until the podcast comes, so everything will be, authentic,
yeah,
or organic.
Because whenever we start talking about it, I'm like, wait, let's just wait for the pod,
right? Like me and Nicole, we were having a debate, and she actually looked something up. I said, "No, you can't do that."
yeah. I forgot I looked up, and I was like, "Now I know." I forgot what I looked up.
You can't do that. If we got a debate on the podcast, and if we're wrong, somebody will let us know we're wrong.
Well, I think because after I listened to last week's episode, I was like, I was so wrong about this whole Stephanie Max situation. Let me get my facts straight this time.
Yeah, I mean. That's what makes us authentic.
Yeah.
Because we argue about being wrong. We gonna be passionate about the wrong stuff.
About being wrong. I was like throughout the episode, I mentioned like several times. You kept correcting me. No, there is no Stephanie.
Yeah.
But I kept going back to it. So.
Yeah, but ambition, I don't see it. Like I said, he's a narcissist. He's trying to, and this is just a theory. The reason he's a part of the resistance. He wants to come in with. The reason he wants to be in control, or he's trying to go out and get other communities so he can get more people on his side. Once you get a large group, he's like the Commonwealth said they have 50,000 people in there. Mm-hmm. Now, we only seen like 30.
30 people?
We see 30 people, okay. Or maybe less.
Yeah.
We see high rises. There could be people in there. We don't know. We just know there's 50,000 people. So I think he's trying to get different. I wonder how many people is in Alexandria. Probably another 15, 20.
I was going to say not much. 50 at most.
But watch, next time they talk about it, they say, yeah, you have 25,000 people in here.
Right. Man,
right.
Like that. If they say some bullshit like in the thousands, I'll be like, why didn't y'all fight Negan? Like from the jump then, if y'all had that many people.
But I think he's trying to get the numbers on his hand. And when he get the numbers, and Pamela see it. That's what she said. I mean, if this don't go right or don't go as planned, it's going to be your ass. Mm-hmm. But that's what he's trying to do. He needs the Ocean Side. He needs Alexandria. And you're right. He needs the Hilltop for the numbers. Mm-hmm. But the Commonwealth don't really need the Hilltop for anything else.
Yeah, and that's probably why Pound was like, why do we need it? You make your empire too big, your empire may crumble. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's what he wants. He wants that for himself.
Yeah, he wants it for himself. And yeah, it will crumble because, like I said, if you think about the territories of the British Empire, things are too far apart for you to have control over. It's going to eventually crumble.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some listener letters. We have an email today from Chantel.
Yeah.
She goes...
The Walking Dead writer herself.
Yes, our insider to The Walking Dead here. She goes, I hope you all are doing well. I'm really looking forward to your thoughts on this week's episode. It was good. It was different from what we usually get. Almost like a political thriller or some sort of drama, similar to last week or the week before whenever Eugene was on his mission. It is definitely setting something up, and I'm excited to see where this story goes. There was so much happening in this episode. I had to be quick with my email because I was heading out to dinner last night. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Chantel. All right, she goes, Max. I'm so happy that the show took us back to the beginning of Max and Eugene's relationship so that we could see how everything played out on her side of the story. I love that she is a hot genius, finding equipment and rebuilding a radio during the apocalypse, while wearing her satin scarf, come through black girl magic. Yes. Yeah. Yep. I like that too. Remember, I think I mentioned last week, I was like, why didn't they have her? If she's able to be on the radio, and like that's her responsibility, then why didn't they feel that she was also good enough to be the real Stephanie? But now we found out, okay, she wasn't supposed to be on that radio.
Right.
Mercer is clearly protective of her and doesn't want her to get found out, but I find it difficult to believe that Hornsby didn't know that it was Max speaking on the radio. According to Mercer, Hornsby was listening in and knew there was contraband device. She works for Pamela Milton and he is Pamela's right-hand man. How did he not recognize her voice? And what did Mercer mean when he told her that they specifically couldn't afford to mess up? Was he implying that it could blow up the whole resistance movement? Was it just that they would be thrown out or worse? I'm sure the Commonwealth has a law against treason, and the punishment is very likely death, like it is here in real world America. Looking at you, January 6th idiots. Mercer is a general. Can you imagine what they do to him, or was it something else altogether?
I mean, you made a lot of good points, because he had to know her voice. Her voice is her voice. You hear her every day, especially, you're Pamela's right-hand man, so how did you not recognize it? But maybe, no. You know what? If he didn't recognize her voice, and if Mercer was so scared that her voice would be recognized, then maybe they're not a part of the resistance. Maybe he was saying we can't be kicked out of here because we can't go back to how it was where we scrambling, fighting the walkers, whatever.
Right.
So both of them can't be a part of the resistance. So if Mercer's part of the resistance, that means
Hornsby's not.
Hornsby's not. He's just trying to take over.
Yeah.
And if Hornsby is part of the resistance, that means Mercer's not.
Right. Which makes me wonder.
Chantel, you got my head going crazy right now.
Who is it? Who's part of the resistance? Okay, she has a little bit more on Max. There's a part of me that was bothered that Max felt the need to explain herself to Eugene. I get that she needed to clarify what happened, but it felt like she was apologizing, like she done something wrong. Chantel, are we disagreeing? Because she did do something wrong.
She didn't.
She was played too. And if she was a part of the resistance, it wouldn't have done her any good to call attention to herself by calling out fake Stephanie when she saw her with Eugene at the ice cream truck. I get that he was hurt. I was sad for him. And I certainly don't begrudge him the right to be upset. I guess I'm just glad it all seemed to work out for them in the end so far.
Yeah.
I didn't like how she was upset. Like, I mean, I'm not going to keep repeating it, but I just feel like they both, not Eugene really. I feel like Eugene in this instance was innocent, because he didn't recognize a fake. Like how, like you finally meet the girl that you've been talking on the phone with and having good vibes with, and you finally meet her in person. Yeah, she might be slightly different, but the love is still there. It kind of, think about this. The Walking Dead season 1. I feel like some shows, they get their long running from that first season. Like, we love that first season. Everyone loves the first season of this show and that show. And then that season holds them over because people are still remembering. Like, it's not the same, but you're still in it, versus that first season. And I feel like that's kind of what happened. Like, when he got there, it's like, she's a little different. She's not that first season that I felt that vibe with. But there's some trinkles of it. There's a little bit there still. So I kind of felt like that was his excuse. Like, hey, I didn't realize she was different. I didn't realize it was different.
He should have known.
Okay.
Like I said, he was just pee-whipped. He didn't care. He didn't care at a certain point. Like, yeah. So he probably asked her about his hometown, and she probably like, what? Forget it.
All right. She goes, Eugene. I'm happy that Eugene had that conversation with Rosita. I'm glad that we were able to see him finally truly come to terms with his past behavior. Remember, when he first admitted that he was lying about Washington and being a doctor, he told everyone that it didn't matter because his lie got them to where they were. He never really took accountability for his actions. This conversation was him finally doing that in a way that worries me. Talking to Rosita was almost like a confession. Eugene is going to die.
Ooh. But I was glad also. I was glad he finally, because it seemed like an apology. And Eugene has did so much fucked up shit. And it always worked out at the end. And he's always taking credit for it working out. Like with Negan. He went over there and made the bullets. But guess what? I'm on the inside. I was able to help you guys out. With the Rosita and Abraham thing, yeah, I lied. But I got us with this great group of people. So he's always taking credit for his lies and not really apologize or admitted that he was wrong. And I think he finally done it, and it took a heartbreak for him to do it.
Yeah, because
heartbreak in the zombie apocalypse.
Well, now he sees that the end doesn't justify the means, and like just as she mentioned here, that hey, yeah, I lied to you guys, but I got us to where we need to be because I knew that's where we need to be. And in this case, Hornsby's like, yeah, I lied to you guys. But hey, it helped you guys because now you actually have shelter. You're not having to fight every day. So it all worked out. But that saying the ends doesn't justify the means is there for a reason. Like, it still doesn't matter.
Right.
Or the end doesn't justify the means.
But personally, I think people need to disconnect from their feelings in the zombie apocalypse. You need to, everything's out the window.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different world.
I'm not getting my heart broken in the zombie apocalypse.
You saw Rosita. Rosita wasn't about to get her heart broken. She went and got with Spencer afterwards. Even she was kind of upset, but she like, I'll move on. It's okay. Right. This is an apocalypse. I'm about to be sitting here sad.
Special circumstances.
Yeah.
I'm about to move on.
Eugene's speech to Max broke my heart. When he talked about being so used to rejection that he wanted fake Stephanie standing in front of him to be real, my heart. He chose to believe her even though he had some misgivings. He was willing to be hoodwinked just because he wasn't immediately rejected by her. Then he said he often misses subtle cues. Sniffles. Haven't we said that before, that he might be on the spectrum? If this was the writer's way of telling us that, I wish they had been a little bit more explicit because that type of representation would be fantastic on this show. I'll make sure to tell them at the next meeting. LOL. Anyway, Josh McDermott did such a good job. Eugene is really tugging at my heart this season. Too bad he is going to die.
Man.
Yeah, he may be on the spectrum, and that is actually interesting for them to show if he is. But then at the same time, like, I don't know how to put it. Like, sometimes you don't have to like point out every diversity thing that there is, like you can show and not tell. So we don't have to for sure know that he's on the spectrum. We don't have to for sure know someone is this or someone is that. Or, what's Jerry's wife? Like, we don't know her religion, but she does wear the hijab. So, like, they showed and they didn't tell. So, to me, you can have diversity and representation and not actually have to point it out, because then, to me, it gets a little messy. Like, you have to explicitly say it. Like, we see him, we see how he acts and everything like that, and just acknowledge that, hey, to me, that's representation of the different type of personalities as well that's out there. So.
Okay.
All right. She goes, hotties galore at Commonwealth. She has Tommy. I don't know who Tommy is. Ezekiel, Mercer, hot nurse who we don't know, but I like to learn. I don't know. Oh, you know what? If you're talking about when Ezekiel was at the hospital, I really wasn't paying attention because Jerry, like, his excitement, like when everyone left, Jerry was keeping it cool, but as soon as everyone left, he's like, yes. And I'm like, I was just like, yes, Jerry. And like, we hardly see Jerry.
Well, we know it's Chantel going through the zombie apocalypse.
Right.
Straight to Commonwealth. She's not going to Hilltop.
Right. Who is going to Hilltop, man? No one's going to Hilltop. Jerry's actually another good one. Like, I wonder if he goes to Walker Stalker Con.
Oh, he definitely do.
Because I would stand in line to meet Jerry. I really would.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely there.
He has to be.
And we have to go. When is it this year?
It's usually like in October. We haven't gone in a few years. Well, they probably were closed the last few years.
We haven't went because of the pandemic.
Yeah, because I think we went in like probably 2017 or something. It's been a while.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Because the next year we just went to...
No, 2018, San Diego.
Yeah.
2019 we could have gone, but we didn't. And then, of course, the last 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
MomoCon.
MomoCon, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went there. All right, Pamela Milton. Pamela is very privileged and very problematic. The pedicures, the Ralph Lauren wardrobe, the traveling quarters, she is ridiculous. Bob Stokey literally tied himself up in a tree to sleep safely, and this woman has a tent with a writing desk and oriental rugs. During the apocalypse, ridiculous and out of touch, I love when Maggie told her she'd rather be respected for what she does and not what she has. I agree.
Bullshit. Huh? What?
Man, no. Like I wouldn't even be able to respect. I mean, it to me it was screaming loud about like the current situations, you know, where the current, like just taking the president for example, saying get back to the office, and it's like gas prices dude, people can't even afford to drive to work. Like you're living in this life of privilege in your little bubble, and to me Pamela's in her little bubble. And like I feel like she acted like she just came to like, oh, you know, I'm just normal people like you. Let me get my gun and I'll hang out with Maggie. And it's like, we see through this, Pamela. You can't act like you're just one of the people.
You can't blame somebody for not having survivor's remorse.
I'm not blaming her for not having survivor's remorse. There's not having survivor's remorse, and then there's also like just being completely clueless to your circumstances. Or to other people's circumstances when you're a politician.
You know what? Really, I don't think this wasn't her idea. She didn't want to be here. So if somebody take me somewhere that I don't want to be, or it's not, you know, I'm not going to kind of downplay who I am as a person to kind of fit into their circumstance. She shouldn't have to downplay to fit inside of one of those tents at the hilltop.
Of course not.
She should have never been at the hilltop.
I agree with that. But the thing is, she's still, like, forget about the hilltop and all the other communities. What about the people at Commonwealth?
But see, okay, let's go back to the hilltop. Let's go back to Alexandria. She loved Oceanside. She loved it. But you have to remember, this wasn't her idea. She didn't want to be here. She was going along because she has respect for Hornsby. He wanted to be there. He wanted to make these deals. She was going along, he brought her along so she could give him the thumbs up or thumbs down. So basically, he brought her along to try to sell her. It wasn't her idea to go there, so why should she go there and be something that she's not? Anytime I travel, I'm not trying to be uncomfortable. I'm trying to still stay within my lifestyle, how I'm used to living.
That's fine, but when you're a public servant, such as she is,
she's not their servant. She's not a public servant to the Alexandria. But she does this
even in the Commonwealth. So, like, taking all the other territories aside, she's still doing all this extra shit, gathering, you know, having Met galas and shit. Why only certain people can go to them and dress all fancy and shit.
But that kind of sounds familiar.
What does it sound familiar like?
The Met Gala? Only certain people could go?
Well, that's the whole point. Yeah, that's the whole point.
Commonwealth never fell, so they're still living life as if they haven't fallen. They're still living their day to day, and they're trying to be as normal as they can be. So I'm not going to blame them for doing that or her for being who she is. When we see, I mean, it's going on now. So if United States, if something falls, it's the apocalypse or whatever. If there's sections that didn't fall and they're still living life how they live life, there's still a governor, there's still senators in there. I'm not going to blame them for still living like that.
Fine, then don't blame them. Be a part of the resistance, like they're trying to break that shit up. Then.
Nah, I don't think I'm not built for that either.
All right. Well, she continues. She goes, "Grow your empire further than your powers can extend, and you lose your empire. Empire,
Facts.
They are colonizers. They're traveling to a different state to essentially colonize the communities. With that in mind, I truly don't believe that our people will ever be allowed to just go back home, regardless of what they've been told. There's no way. Pamela knows our people are strong. If they don't fall in line, they become a threat to her empire. They won't be allowed to walk away and be in the world where Pamela can't see them / control them. That is why they offered the help, so that our communities will always be indebted to them, therefore under their control, Like Maggie said, everything costs something. Thank you. Beautifully put. So many examples, so many real world examples now.
And it was beautiful. I like how she put it, but I don't agree. I do not agree. I mean, you know what? I agree with everything she said about the empire and you stretch your empire too far and they're going out. But y'all are still talking as if Pamela's going out doing this. She is doing Hornsby a favor by going along. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want any part of any of this.
She still went out there
to do a favor for a friend.
I wouldn't say that her and Hornsby are friends.
I think they are.
She was carrying. I mean, if she's a friend, then you don't talk to your friends that way. If something happens, there's gonna be some serious what the fuck?
I mean, you gotta that there's just an order to where they are, and she gotta remind him that although I'm doing this with you and we're talking, we're having a good time, there is an order. So if you screw me on this, then yeah, I mean that's real life. Like your friends now every day. If your friend screw you on something, what do? You're not gonna talk to him again. I mean, you ain't gonna you might get in a fist fight, a little tussle, but most likely you're not gonna talk to him again, whatever. But there's an order to there's a structure to where they're at. You're my right hand man, but I'm still over the Commonwealth. I'm going out here. I'm entertaining you. Let's go out and see it because you need me to make this decision. But in reality, you're trying to sell me. You're trying to sell me. I'm fine where I'm at. So what I'm saying is, and let me back up, is that I think you guys are being too hard on Pamela when it's not really Pamela that want to do this. She don't want any part of this situation right here. She's just going along to entertain a friend.
Either way, she was there, and if you go to another country and they have a certain dress code, or you go to another country and they have certain their culture is a certain way, you don't go there and be like, well, this is my culture, I don't even want to be here, so I'm going to do whatever I still want to do here, even though I'm in a different environment.
What's the appropriate attire for her? She doesn't know where she's going. She don't know what their structure is. So what is appropriate for her?
Okay, so is Pamela in charge, or is she just some mindless person? Because you're making a lot of excuses for her.
I'm saying outside of the Commonwealth. Outside of the Commonwealth, if she's going there, she don't know what they're doing at the hilltop. She was surprised when she saw the hilltop. She don't know what's going on at Alexandria. She didn't even, when she got to Alexandria, she was like, why are we here? The only place she loved out of those three places was Oceanside.
Okay, she understands that she's going to some territories that need their assistance. It's just like when a politician or a president, whoever, like say there's a hurricane or something, and the president goes a couple days later and visits that city. They don't go there with a three-piece suit.
But look what you said. You said the president goes to visit that city. The president goes to visit what city? The city that he's over?
Okay, so even if they go to a different country, if they're going to a different country or somewhere else outside of their normal territory to go pay their respects, they don't go there with a three-piece suit. They try to show some respect and wear regular clothes.
But why? Because they can do the research. Where there's internet, they know if they go over here how they dress over here. They know if they go over there how they dress over there. Pamela has no idea what's going on outside of the Commonwealth.
You are really caping for Pamela right now. Like you are really strong. Like you're really making excuses for her. So she's just either she's dumb or she's smart. Like because she just didn't know anything. She's just walking in. So Hornsby led me here. She just didn't know where she was going. Come on now.
No, she didn't. She don't know what they're doing. She don't know how they dress in that at Alexandria. She don't know what they're doing at Alexandria.
Well, then she don't deserve to be in charge. If she has zero
she's
clue.
Not in charge of Alexandria. She's not in charge of Oceanside.
If she has zero clue of what the world is outside of her walls, then she does not need to be charged with the world inside of her walls. That's her responsibility. If she's running an empire, her responsibility is to know how life is outside of her walls.
Oh, so let me Google Alexandria.
You don't have to Google. What? They know automatically they have to wear the stormtrooper outfits. They know that enough. They don't go outside without it.
For her protection.
All right. Gary is too much. Let's continue.
When she got to Oceanside, you saw how surprised she was, how relaxed she like. She hasn't been somewhere like that. You can tell in years since the world fell. She was loving it.
Well, then I would say that she's not even doing her own community a service. If she's so clueless that she doesn't even know what's going on. I didn't know. She knew not to wear the Met Gala outfit out there. But she, so come on.
You know not to wear the captain's ball outfit to the basketball court.
All right, Gary. All right.
You only wear the Met Gala outfit during the Met Gala.
I swear, Gary's disagreeing with me just to disagree.
No, I mean, I just can't believe y'all going so hard at her when she is not the problem. Y'all are losing focus on who the problem is.
And who's the problem?
I think the problem is Hornsby. He's the one that's trying to take over. He's the one that's going to F us at the end. Not her.
All right. Well,
I think the only thing she's trying to do is make sure we're not a threat to her. That's it.
All right. Well, Chantel concludes the Pamela part with, there's something very Andrea with a dash of governor about Pamela Milton. I don't like it, but I appreciate that she's aware of how I was going to say heartless, how worthless her son is, shrugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say that, like, grown children, of course, are old enough and free enough to make up their own mind and how they want to be as a human being. But I can't also help but give a little side eye that her son is the way he is. Like, she's up here judging him. Oh, my son's worthless. Bitch, you raised him. Like, did he all of a sudden become worthless when he became an adult? Like, are you telling me he was just a perfect little kid, and then all of a sudden when he became an adult, he just turned out worthless?
You can't control who your kids become.
You can't control who your kids become. And I will say that, but I also do give a little side eye.
I don't. And I'm going to explain myself on that also.
Go ahead.
That's like people who have kids that maybe your kids turn out and they try drugs. They're on drugs. You never did drugs around them. You don't do drugs. Your kids are going to become who your kids are. Your kid's going to have the personality your kid's going to have. You always want the best for your kids. Maybe when her kid was younger, she was like, okay, yeah, let me raise them to take over. And the older he get, the more she realized, like, this is pointless. This is pointless. He's never going to be able to take over. He's not even trying. The only thing he's trying to do is just be in control of this, yell out demands here, do that. He's not actually trying to learn the business. Nepotism don't get it everywhere.
I get it, but just like how I congratulate, internally in my head, like when I see parents that, like, oh my gosh, they have 2 kids that went into the NFL, like, that's amazing. Well, I say it's similar to how I say, hey, parents that maybe have like 2 kids in the NFL or 2 kids in NBA, whatever, like, or a whole bunch of acting kids. I'm like, whoa, that's amazing. Like, that's cool. And I sort of always say, like, I know their parents must be proud, or they did a really good job, like, to be able to get 2 kids in a field that's so small, you know? So I can't help but also use that same perspective. If you have 4 kids and 3 of them are drug addicts, regardless if you didn't do drugs yourself, I have to give a little side eye. Something went wrong.
I mean, environment. You do the best you can as a parent. I mean, you can't help the environment and what your kids pick up.
That is true. And
like, you can raise 2 kids the same way, and both of them will get 2 completely different outlooks on how they were raised. Yeah.
There was that, like, I don't know, it was a story years ago about 2, I think, twin brothers. Yeah. And, like, one was, like, super smart, went to college, got all these good stuff. And the other one was, like, getting in trouble constantly. And they both said the reason why, is because of their environment. They both said, how did you end up this way? The reason for my environment. The smart kid, or the kid that, excelled, he said, I didn't want to continue living this life. Right. The other kid that you can say failed, he was like, I'm this way because of my environment. So I'm not putting it all on parents, because ultimately when you're an adult, you're an adult. But I just wanted to throw that out there. All right, next she has Maggie. This character's arc has been so interesting. She has changed so much since the first time we saw her. She's learned from so many people, some more significant than others. I do find it interesting that she says she leads the way she was taught by Deanna and Georgie. She did not mention Rick. That was a pretty blatant omission. Does this mean she still feels some type of way? I didn't even catch that. I mean, I didn't even think of Rick, and I feel like no one even talks about Rick on the show anymore. Like they don't even. I mean, but why? He's been gone longer than Maggie, or just as long.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she didn't feel the need to bring up Rick in that moment, but I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah, I don't think he's been gone longer, right?
He's been gone.
I think Maggie left first because Maggie left because Negan was there.
Okay, yeah, he has probably been gone long. I mean, she has been gone longer.
Yeah,
but he's been gone for at least like 7 years because Michonne was barely pregnant when he died, when he left.
That's what I said. Maggie's probably been gone 8 years, and he's been gone probably 7.
7, yeah. Okay, she continues. I think Maggie was going to go with them until she saw Daryl fall into formation. That unsettled her. I missed that. Her whole demeanor changed. Remember, Daryl had been walking around free as a bird during the visit. He wasn't even in uniform. Mercer told him something like, people are always watching. And shortly thereafter told Daryl to fall in line.
Yeah.
I think Mercer purposely did that where Maggie could see it. That tells me that Mercer is in the resistance. He knows Hilltop joining and bringing Oceanside along with them can make the Commonwealth stronger. He doesn't want the Commonwealth to be stronger. Being stronger makes them harder to defeat. He knew that Daryl was once a leader. He knows how close Daryl and Maggie are. He knew how unsettling it would be for Maggie to see Daryl as a foot soldier, so he made sure she saw it. The brother is good looking and smart.
But yeah, that's a good point because I was wondering why he told Daryl to fall in line when they wanted to portray Daryl as being just normal Daryl. Daryl was a selling point. Coming there, I'm living good. Everything's good over here at the Commonwealth. They treat me like a king over here. But when Mercer did that, and I was shocked too when Mercer said, hey, I said all the soldiers fall in line.
I missed that.
Daryl, his plain clothes, not looking like a soldier, gonna shake his head and just go over there.
I completely missed that scene. Or I don't know, I missed that. Mercer, I'm like every week I'm hot and cold with him. Like, I like him and then I don't like him. And this week I think I liked him. And like he wasn't like frowning as much or just walking around mean mugging or whatever. And then like we got to see a little bit more of his feelings like in the back, the backstory with him and Max, even though he was kind of like rude to her. Like, can't believe he did. Like when he came in and snatched the thing off, I was like, how did he find out? Or he must have heard her voice.
Yeah, he recognized her voice.
Yeah, and went looking, but okay. All right, she has some randomness here, and she has a couple thoughts, so let's go through them. So Lydia, Elijah, and Diane stayed at Hilltop, and they look rough. Meanwhile, Aaron and the folks at Alexandria look clean. The help from Commonwealth makes a difference, but at what cost? What are the terms of their agreement with them? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I am wondering, what are they offering? Because the way Aaron was talking, like, well, Aaron knows. He's like, yes, your help is nice, but in the end, we can do this on our own. It would just take a little longer.
Yeah.
So I do wonder, unless their offer is, hey, bring half of your people, which some people are there at Commonwealth, help them have them work here, and we'll give up some people to help you guys rebuild.
Yeah. I don't think they gave them the stipulations yet. They said, hey, we can help you guys. There is going to be a cost, but let us help you first.
Yeah.
Because Aaron, he don't seem bothered. He don't seem worried. In fact, he seemed eager.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, this don't take our deal off the table, do it.
Right. And then them giving, like, the Hilltop food. I mean, of course, that was planned. I thought that was going to wheel Maggie in. But I think Maggie's playing it smart by saying, like, hold on, we're not going to get into some agreement. We don't really know. Like, let's see how things go. Let's see in a couple months, maybe in 6 months, Let's see how shit plays out.
I just seem like I'm the only one that kind of remembers what Maggie has been doing. First of all, Maggie abandoned us. But yeah, she went out to learn in hopes that she'd come back. Maggie went and found a new group of people. Maggie came back when her little territory or whatever, her little section got taken over. Now she needed our help to go get that back. When we went there, it wasn't even for the reason that we were going there for. We went there like, let's just get the food and go. Maggie wanted to actually take the place back. Maggie has done a lot of damage in this little bit of time than she's been helpful. And now, if we're stronger in numbers, why did Maggie leave to go to no man's land?
No man's land. Yeah.
There could be a bit like building it up, but that's years out.
Right.
It's not going to be how it is now that you drive past a little piece of lot in the morning and in the afternoon it's big. There's a whole carnival. There's a whole carnivore affair there. People are rise enjoying it. Like, hold on, I just passed Walmart this morning. There was nothing right here.
Right.
Like, how they build that so fast? It's not going to be that. This is going to take years to build. Look how long it took them to build our house.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you with that, but I think I want to hold off on too much judgment on Maggie right now based on what we saw, the first half of this season when she was like, yo, it don't have to go down this way. And Daryl was like, yes, it does, or whatever. I'm trying to hold off until I see what happens.
Because what is Maggie even doing in Alexandria?
Well, was that Alexandria now or was that Hilltop now? Now that we know that she...
They didn't build that shit in 6 months. Yo, get out of here.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, guys. Excuse my language, but they did not build that. That was not Hilltop.
I don't know. They say... What is it? The Amish people, I think, they... Like, have you seen those videos where they'll build a house in, like, one day? Like, you'd be surprised what can be accomplished when people really, truly work together.
But have you seen what they're building the house with? They already have the wood. The wood is carved out. All they need to do is go buying little slabs and they're connecting it like Legos. These are like cabins. They're connecting them.
I'm just saying.
It's not really from scratch.
6 months is a long time to be able to do something.
Well, how much time do you think passed from the time she left there and went there to the time? Are you saying that when she was looking over, that was Hilltop?
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
But what is she doing in Hilltop? They can't even grow crop on that land.
They eventually were able to. I mean, I don't know. We don't. That's why I said I'm holding off judgment. I don't know. I don't know where she's at. I don't know what the reasons are. But I'm not on the I hate Maggie train yet. Like, I'm not on the too much suspicion. Like, yeah, she might have her own little agenda.
I don't hate her. So I don't want to put that out there. I don't hate Maggie. But I don't feel like Maggie has the group best interest in hand. Maggie went out and got a new family. She has their best interest in hand.
People do it all the time. People go off and find a new family all the time. So
they do. So, and when they do that, what do? You side eye them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why not side eye Maggie?
I mean, I'm waiting to see. And yeah, and Maggie actually has a right to have a new family. Like, her original family, Rick and Michonne and everyone else, sat there and let the man who brutally killed her husband. So yeah, maybe she don't really fuck with him anymore like she used to. Because like, you guys killed my husband, you're gonna try and make an example or whatever and show that there's a new world. All these people that y'all done killed before, and now the one that kills my husband, this is where we start.
Well, guess what, Nicole? I can't trust nobody. I did wrong. If I wronged you, I don't even trust you no more. Because you're going to eventually get me back.
Well, that's why she had to leave. She was like,
I can't trust her.
So, all right, let's go ahead. Second thought she has is, did you guys catch Daryl's dig at Commonwealth? When Mercer asked what he did before, Daryl said it didn't matter. At least it didn't to our people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a like. 3, are you supposed to just die because the system is broken? Lesser men have been given more and have done nothing with it. You are not a lesser man. Oh, Carol, I wish she'd just say she loves him. Yeah, she probably, I don't know. I've already said how I felt about that.
If I was Ezekiel, I wouldn't trust Carol.
Yeah, Carol, you willing to do anything to get me here. I mean, I don't know. I don't really trust sneakiness. So, like... Well,
the thing is, I think she's just playing with his emotions.
No, I don't think she's trying to play
either you all in or you all out.
Maybe.
You can't be in and then you're out. Leave me heartbroken. Then now you be in again.
I mean, at this point, they've broken up. Like, it's been a few years, right? Since the breakup?
People don't forget.
Next, Pamela told Hornsby, you've been ambitious our entire lives. What the fuck is their relationship?
They're real good friends. I think they grew up together.
Oh, are they brother and sister? Do we know Hornsby's last name, or is Hornsby his last name?
Yeah, well, I don't know. But from that statement, that's why I kept saying that they're friends.
Yeah.
Obviously, but they're still order to, like, I'm here, you're right here. This is still my community over here that you're helping me with, but I'm still here. That's what the only reason she went out there with them is because they're friends. Is to entertain them. I don't think she went out there with a plan on, let's go out here. Yeah, this is a good idea, because she kept saying, like, we have everything we need right here. What do we need this for?
Right. How cute are Eugene and Max? They are so adorable. Those goofy laughs. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy that Eugene found someone, but I guess there is a little strain there. But I think they can get over this if they both acknowledge what happened, or at least Max, in my opinion, acknowledges her role in this and all of this heartbreak and everything. Then, they can probably develop a nice relationship.
I think she recognized her role, and that's why she told him the story. Like, I couldn't come out. I couldn't come out because they're looking for the person that was on the radio. What she did was she broke the law. We don't know what the consequences is.
She could have told him privately and quietly. If their relationship was that deep over the radio, she could have privately told him another day.
But she still don't know him. Hence, Stephanie.
All right.
I still don't know you. So I'm not going to tell you. And plus, I mean, she did like the most heroic thing. And that's when you see somebody in love and you just let them be. To me, that's heroic. Because I'm trying to break your shit up.
I don't know if they were in love yet when they first got ice cream.
That you was remember, Nicole. I'm trying to break you up. It's a joke.
That's when they first got together. So, like, when she saw them, to me, they weren't in love yet. Like, they were just getting ice cream. They just were in love. Or they just,
no, but she said, you look so happy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I don't think she thought they were in love, but I'm saying that that's love on her part.
Oh, okay.
When you just let somebody be who they're, you look so happy together. You look, you're building something. I don't want to come between that, because she said she wanted to say something until she saw that.
Right.
It takes a lot.
It does, and I can see if she thought he was just happy being with someone. But if if I see someone and they're happy and it's a lie, I would. And if you cared about that person, I would say something.
But I think she had too much to risk.
All right, next she has. Remember when we talked about the broken window theory? When Gary started calling Alexandria ghetto.
It is. Or it was.
It is.
Now the Hilltop.
Looking better.
Hilltop that took the award.
Right.
They took the prize.
Notice how when Pamela and company arrived at Alexandria, Aaron told someone to cover a broken window. Why are we covering what is still broken? Commonwealth knew that Alexandria was in shambles. They were helping to fix it. That was just weird. You know what? When he was telling her the people to cover it, I'm like, I didn't even get what was going on. I'm like, what is he telling them to do? Hide or whatever? Like, hide something? I didn't get it.
Yeah, he was just trying to help solidify the sale.
Yeah. But it's like, if you don't go and help someone that, like, I don't know. Like, if someone, like, you're going to help them because they need the help. So you want to see evidence of that needing the help. If everything's perfect, you'd be like, they don't look like they need our help here. So,
well, I think she went there. Like I said, she didn't want to help, but I think it was more for the partnership.
Right.
Like, we need them and we'll be over them. They'll be a part of, what we have going on here. Right.
She goes, what was Lydia talking about when she was chatting with Daryl about knowing when it is time to leave? Is she going to go off on her own? Was that what sparks Carol and Daryl to leave to go looking for Lydia? No, I think she was saying, when do you know when to leave this shit? Like, Hilltop.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know how she decided to come to Hilltop. Maybe because the hate she got at Alexandria, because it's not like she knew what's the name? Maggie. It's not like she knew her.
And I think that's the beautiful part, that she didn't know her, because everybody that know her was everybody who went through what they went through with the Whispers. So why not get with a group that really don't know much about you, really never suffered at the hands of the Whispers,
right?
And now it's more like a clean slate.
Well, it seems like Commonwealth would have been the better choice for her.
Oh, she gonna be there soon.
Yeah.
After when the next tent they put up and somebody start growling, she'll be like, I'm out.
How the hell did Mercer's troops fire like that and not hit anyone but walkers?
Thank you.
Maybe this is supposed to tell us how formidable of the force the stormtroopers are.
Right. I was thinking the same thing. Like, you shot in the direction of our people and you didn't hit nobody. Mm-hmm. You only hit walkers. Come on. Impossible.
I don't like it when I think Hornsby or Mercer, somebody was like, you and you. They talked to Stormtrooper and then Daryl. They're like, you and you, come here. And I'm like, who talks like that? You and you? I have an effing name, okay? Like, you and you. Like, I don't know. I just hate when they do that in shows. Like, okay. Love Deanna and Red's shout out, and that Daryl actually felt strongly about her. She built all of this for us, and he was so emotional. As emotional as Daryl could get.
Yeah.
Diane has had enough. She grabbed her things and got on the good foot. I don't know if I blame her. If there is a resistance, will she join, or will she remain swayed by what the Commonwealth offers?
I mean, I think it's time for a break. And everybody need one. Listen, they've been out there so long fighting. It's time to go to the ice cream truck. It's time to go to the food truck. It's time to go to the honey house. I mean, it's time to get a little bit of what used to be normal back. I mean, I don't want to go back to the 9 to 5, but everything else, I want to go. I mean, right now she's in a tent. I want to go to my apartment because that's where she's going to be. She's going to be one of the high rises. Mm-hmm. I want to go to my little high rise. At least I may have AC, lights, running water. I don't have to worry about fighting because there's people here to fight the fight.
Right.
And she may join them.
She may. I mean, Diane is loyal too. And the King's there. Jerry's there. Those are her original people.
Well, when I say join them, I mean, she may take a job as a stormtrooper.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's been her job. I mean, she wore the store brand version of the stormtrooper outfit, you know.
The Wish version.
the Wish version. Yeah, exactly. She ordered the original stormtrooper outfit, the ones that Mercer and them wear, but what turned up was the ones that they had at Kingdom. Oh, real quick, I will say about Mercer, I like that he was like playing around with Maggie's son and like letting him wear the little, you know, I think his helmet or something. Yeah. Even though I was thinking he's probably like, I need that back before we leave because his is orange. Like, come on, you know. And then she has final is she just says we're halfway through the final season of our show. Have you guys thought about what you'll do next? The anthology series, the ill-advised spinoffs. I'm here for whatever you do. Just let us know. Have a great week, Chantel. Thanks, Chantel.
Thank you, Chantel. And Chantel, you brought up a lot of good points, a lot that I agree with, but, you know, some I didn't. But, you know, she kind of put me on the edge. She got me thinking a little bit.
Yeah, as always. I agreed with her for most of it, except for probably the Mac stuff. But as far as the next shows, I was just talking to Chantel the other day on Twitter. And
you know what, Chantel, we're not going to tell our next show because it's like bad luck to us.
You're right, Gary. Yeah,
we had tell our next show
and then never do that shit.
And watch an episode and be like, nope.
No. But the show I told you, Chantel, you have insider knowledge. I really think we're gonna do. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just always, if you like listening to our podcast, make sure you watch the Verdicts In feed, like the main feed. If you're listening to this on the Walking Dead feed, we have the Verdicts In feed, and we put every show that we do there. So.
Yep.
All right, thank you so much for writing in. Now, time for I Ain't Fearing Shit. Who you got?
I Ain't Fearing Shit will have to go to Maggie, and the reason I say that is because. How do you almost get killed and still turn out help? You have a death wish. I mean, you didn't have food. You brought back those 2 little rabbits, and they was like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to prepare these." Right. Maggie is willing to die for this shit.
Yeah, she is.
She's willing. So Maggie,
she's stubborn. Because even when they say, "Can we give your people some food?" and I was thinking, like, talk to her people. I'd be damned if Maggie was like, "No, we won't take it." I'm like, what the hell?
Is there an order?
What you mean? I see. Like, you have this look like you didn't caught me up, but you didn't.
Yeah.
So what were you implying?
We can move on. Who do you got?
Okay. I don't really have anyone that wasn't fearing shit this week, but you made a good one by saying Maggie, because Maggie. I mean, I kind of appreciate her being like, no, this is what we're gonna do, and if we die, we die. But I mean, she didn't say that, but I like that she's sticking to whatever she believes.
It was implied.
Hopefully it's not implied with her having a little kid there. But so Maggie ain't fearing shit.
And I'm still, this is, I don't know why it's so funny to me, but I can still see it. Like, we're not watching the show, but I can still just look around and see all the tents. Like, why? Why do you want to live like that?
I don't remember the tents, but I mean, there are some people that choose not to be a part of traditional society or like a capitalist system such as Commonwealth. They're a capitalist system and they're using this money and everything like that. So I get people who are like, no, we're not going back to that shit.
Well, you have to understand that Maggie was never a part of that shit. She stayed on the farm with her father. All her family stayed around there. So she wasn't a part of that system because they probably grew their own food. They had animals and all that. So she is not really, a part of that structure in the first place.
No, Maggie went to a regular high school. So she was part of that system.
Well, yeah, she went to high school, but you have to understand that not all places are built equally. That's why there's a city. And there's city folks, they call them inner city kids, inner city people. And then you have the suburbs. Then you have the areas that people call the country. There's different areas. But Commonwealth is more like a suburb/city. That's the city life. You go there, you don't need a vehicle. You walk around, you get whatever you want. Everything is right there, what you need. But where Maggie's from, everything's right there because they're milking the cows, they're doing this. They're not dependent on anybody from the outside. And that's why Maggie has the I don't need you attitude.
Well, even more good for her then. Like, more so good for her because she understands what it's like and the benefits of being on your own and building your own.
And you're right. But what does that say about her as a leader? Because her people didn't feel that way.
True.
So you could say the same thing about Maggie that you said about Pamela.
Yeah. I mean, no.
When you say Pamela's out of touch, you mean you can't tell me that maybe Maggie's out of touch?
No. Because everyone has been living the Maggie life, the Maggie way, farming and all that on their own for the last 10 years. So technically the way Maggie lived prior to this is similar or closer to how they're living today.
And everybody in the Commonwealth, the way they lived in Commonwealth is similar to how they live today.
All right. Most likely die. Who you got, Gary?
Most likely to die. I'm going to take the writer's advice because she knows. And, we always get it wrong, so she just gave it to us this time. So I'm going to say Eugene.
Good choice.
Thank you, Chantel.
I'm actually going to say the king. The fact that we'll probably get his surgery next week and that he moved up, I could just see The Walking Dead being like, let's kill him. Like, let's not let him survive the surgery. And that to me is like more like a realistic death. That's something that's like no one killed him per se. And it would be even sadder. Like, oh no, the fact that Carol moved him up the list actually but like he died sooner, or maybe he would have still died regardless if he didn't get the surgery or he gets it. But either way, I think they're setting us up thinking, oh, he's now getting the surgery, and then like they're gonna just rip that away from us and be like, no, he died during that surgery. And then Yumiko's brother is probably gonna be the surgeon. He's gonna feel ultra bad, and he's probably gonna be like, I'm not doing this shit anymore or whatever. But he
don't have a choice.
My most likely to die is King Ezekiel, and you will be missed.
I mean, you made a good point, and you had a good little story to go with it. I mean, I got emotional just by you talking about it. But I'm gonna take Chantel. I'm gonna take her advice.
All right.
She just got tired of us getting it wrong. She's just like, man, let me just give it to him.
Let's just give it to him, yeah. Okay, Eugene or Ezekiel. So we'll see. All right, that is all we have. If you would like to be part of the podcast, hit us up, dead@thebriticsend.com. And we love to hear from y'all. Until then, I'm Nicole.
I'm Gary.
Bye.